Welcome to Hustle System. My name is Mikhail, and I help people master their mindset, build a better business, and help you live your life on your terms. In this video, I'm going to be talking about workaholicism and how to deal with it. If you are a workaholic, this video is for you. As always, before we dive in, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe down below. It means a lot. And if you have subscribed, but you have not clicked the notification bell, please click down below so you can be notified when I upload more awesome videos. So look, the truth is this video is a confession video, okay? It's a confession. I'm a workaholic, okay? My name is Mikhail and I'm a workaholic. Okay, some people are alcoholics, I'm a workaholic. And I don't think they have Workaholics Anonymous, but they really, really should. And you know, I'm in my 30s now and I'm realizing more and more like how working hard is not necessarily the same as working smart. They talk about that a lot. And the truth is, I mean, Elon Musk talks about this. He's like, you got to just work like heck, right? Put in 80 to 100 hour weeks. And if somebody's putting in 40 hours, you're putting in 100, you're going to accomplish what takes them, you know, a year. You're going to accomplish that in 4 to 6 months, which is pretty awesome. And so that's always been my approach is like, okay, just work harder, just work harder, just work harder. And honestly, I love it, right? I wake up early, I hit it. We get value for clients, we get value for our mentoring students, we get value for people in the world, and we really aim to create something that's bigger and better than ourselves. And I think with that mission comes a sense of sacrifice. So let's talk about some of the things that I've sacrificed, and maybe you'll relate to this, or you'll relate to this in the future as something that you're gonna have to do. And I just want you to be kind of prepared, or maybe you're already an entrepreneur and already doing it. So take, for example, when a friend has a birthday, right? So I live in Los Angeles and a friend of mine in San Diego has a birthday. Well, you know, the average person would be like, cool, awesome, I'm gonna head right down, no sweat, right? So that's an hour and a half there, say, you know, most of the day there, and then an hour and a half back. So that's one day. And that would be usually something that I would sacrifice, right, in a day. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because more and more, I'm starting to appreciate the little things in life. And I wish I realized earlier that the little things are really the big things. And so this is a video to remind you, if you are type A, if you are driven by results, if you are optimizing every little piece from your diet to your sleep, to your performance, to your time management, if you're doing all these things, which we preach, which we support, I want you to understand that there is a point where it is too much and you've gone too far. And that is really displayed in the relationships that you have in your life and the culture and the lifestyle that you're living. Because at the end of the day, life is very, very short. So you can make, you know, $1 million a month, but if you're spending that entire month just exhausted and stressed out, it's probably not worth it. That's the reality. And if you looked around where you are, you actually have to realize that everything you want, you already have. And that's where I want to start on this video, is really with that concept, because being a workaholic, right? Waking up at 5, hitting the gym, going, like hitting it by 7. Like usually I work from 7 a.m. until about 9 p.m. So that's a 12 to 14 hour day with like a very short lunch. Like I squeeze the lunch in, and I find, okay, yeah, I'm able to get exponentially more done than the average person. And I took last week off. I had a friend staying with me, and it was just one of the most beautiful, most amazing weeks of my life. It's something that I will remember for the rest of my life, and I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And I didn't really get a lot of work done. And then I think about, you know, the last, say, decade, right? Say, to take the last 10 years, of like, how many of those days do I really remember of working on some project or doing some proposal or, you know, what have you in the tasks? How much of that really stands out? And life, it's built weird. Our lives are built weird. Okay, that's what you have to understand, is because you're either perceived as lazy or you're perceived as a workaholic, and your self-perception is really the only thing that's important. And so that's why I wanted to really hammer home that everything you want, you already have. It's already inside of you. All the skills and the potential, the seed for that potential lies inside of you. It doesn't lie out here in the world. It lies inside, in your desire, in your passion, in your life essence, if you will, to try and make this planet a better place. And really, there's only two types of people watching this: people that are willing to work hard and sacrifice to make this planet a better place, and as a result overextend and will need this video, then there's kind of the flip side of people that, you know, don't really want to do that. They're going to always put themselves first, and they'll kind of elbow other people out of the way. And if you're in that second category, this video is not really for you. You can go ahead and close this video. There will be other videos that we talk about, you know, niche dominance and a lot of these other more proactive things. But this video is really for that first group of people that says, look, I want to build something great, but I sacrifice things that I love for that. And is that right? And I really want you to first start with understanding that you have everything you need. Okay, that's the place to start, is look around and say, do you really need another phone or a laptop or an iPad or another car or a bigger house or whatever? And ask yourself if you're needing the right things in your life. Or do you really need love? Do you really need appreciation? Do you really need warmth and compassion and real human connection? Because as you go to optimize, often you push things out, right? To optimize the work, you push things out. And that creates often a very high performance space, but also a very empty space. And I guess what I'm getting at with this is the highest performance space is not the empty space. The highest performance space is when you perform what you want to perform with joy. And yes, you outperform everybody else. And yes, you are competitive. And yes, you want to win, and you strive to win, and you push to win, and you structure your systems to be superior to those of your competitors. Those are things you should be doing by default. But from what I've seen is when I am happy, I outperform everybody. And when I am stressed and anxious and nervous and under the gun, I still perform, and I still perform phenomenally, but it doesn't have the same energy behind it. It doesn't have the same power behind it. It doesn't have the same positivity. It doesn't have that same sense of expansion and abundance that is required in order to build something truly great. I believe without mastering this principle, you can build an okay company. You can build even a good company, but to build a great company, it's going to come down to the culture. And if you are a leader in that space, you need to understand that the type A, the workaholic, the standard that you set on the work has to apply to the mindset and the happiness as well. Because if you have employees or partners or people that you work with that are setting that high standard, they're setting that high bar here on the work side, they're going to perform as much as they can for as long as they can until the emotional capital taps out. There's always a point where people hit their breaking point, right? Not everybody can keep up with us. Like those of you watching this channel are probably peak performers. Not everyone can keep up. In fact, a very, very small percentage of human beings on this planet can keep up with the pace that we set for ourselves as entrepreneurs, as business leaders, as content creators, whatever it is that you do. And what you have to understand is when you're setting that standard as your type A, you're thinking, look, I want the people in my organization to perform at their best. So I'm going to perform at my best. I'm going to set that as the standard. I'm going to lead from the front, and they'll either keep up or they'll fall off. And what I'm getting at here is you should do that for the performance side, but you should also set a standard for happiness as well. Because if you're performing but you're miserable, your entire organization is going to be miserable. But if you're performing and you're happy and you're thrilled and you're excited and you're in love with the process of life, that is where the magic starts to happen. Rather than being in love with the concept of a certain win or always going to the next level, that should be the default. That's over here. That shouldn't be tied to your happiness level. So this video is very much a confession on my part, because I've spent the last decade working my butt off. Guys, I look back, there's blurs. There's entire periods, huge periods of my life, talking 7, 8, 9 months, where I didn't take a single day off, not a weekend, not a holiday. And straight, every single day, plugging and plugging and plugging and plugging and plugging. And that creates the ability for me to be able to share certain things with you and impart certain skill sets on you that I've honed, that I've sharpened that sword. I've got a really sharp sword for certain things. And I'm able to say, look, here's how you get your sword that sharp twice as fast, 3 times as fast, 10 times as fast than I was able to, because I learned the lessons on the way and was able to work out the kinks. So that's the power in that. But the downside of that is I'm now finding myself having to kind of go back and mend certain relationships or reinforce certain relationships and say, look, you know what? That day I should have been there. I should have been there, man, at your wedding. I should have been there at your birthday. I should have been there at that amazing event. Because that's where the magic is, and that's where the memories are, and I missed some of them. And that's pretty crazy to think about, that I put this work standard above this happiness standard. And so I don't want you to make the same mistake, but I also don't want you to mistake this video for something it isn't. You should outperform everybody, okay? If you're watching this, you should outperform everybody. That should be the default. The default should be that you are the fastest person. You are the best executor. You are in the lead. And then let other people show you that they have what it takes to keep up or at least come close. And then those people that pass you up, those people should become your mentors. Those people should become your peers. You should not be starting from the back and saying, okay, here's all these people in front of me. Well, your goal should be to blaze through, okay? But once you've blazed through and you've weeded out the riffraff, right? And it's just you and a bunch of top performers in the lead, then you need to ask yourself, how can you win even better? Because you're going to look around you and you're going to have two types of people. You're going to have the workaholic types that are just work, and you're going to be observing that and saying, wow, there's a lot of accomplishment there. But you're also going to notice an empty place. You're going to notice an emptiness. You're going to notice almost a vibe of overcompensating for a lack of something. And that's because there is a lack of something. So if you go work, and then you go, wait, am I working on the right thing? Am I focused on the right stuff? Am I happy? Because when you start working on the right things the right way, your happiness level goes up. So that means that take the time to enjoy life. Take the short-term L on the cash flow if you have to. Okay, I just took like a week off, probably cost 5-6 figures just to take that week. Most beautiful week of my life, guys. I would not put like the amount of money that I'd sacrifice to have that memory is everything. Because I could lose everything and I could get it all back. But I can't lose that week, ever. That's it. I got it. It's beautiful. And there's something about that. There's something magical about that. And life really is a magical thing because, you can't own the world. Like those of you that are type A kind of me, it's like we're always trying to own the world. We're trying to own everything. And we're always trying to okay, let me get this real estate and that thing. And like dominance, competitiveness, right? Creating a legacy, which we'll talk about a bit. But honestly, that legacy is a cultural legacy too. It's not just about the wealth. It's also about the level of happiness. It's all about saying, what are the things that you had in your life that you cherished that will stay with you forever? What are the things that last forever? And money is not one of those things. We love money. We love making money. It's fun, but it really should be a game. It should be treated as a sport. It should be treated as a competitive, highly competitive venture in which you compete with yourself and you compete with others in order to put points on the board. And that's what it is, right? If you look at any professional sports team, they make their sport their life. We as entrepreneurs do the same. Very, very similar. A lot of parallels there. But I don't want you to get so lost in it that you look back and you say, I missed out. I missed out on my life. So this is me being very, very vulnerable. I've worked very, very, very hard. And I look back and there's no regrets there. But if I say had a son here, if I say had a little brother here, if I say had a student or a mentee here asking me, hey, how do you achieve the optimal level of output, the optimal level of performance? How do I actually outcompete everybody? The first answer would not be what you expect. You would expect me to say, do your time management like this, do your task flows like this, do your leadership like this, do your management like this, do your execution like this, do your strategy and tactics like this. But those aren't the thing. They're very, very important. They're critical. just like you can't build a house without a foundation. They are foundational, but the thing that would stand out would be do your happiness like this. Find that sweet spot in your happiness where you are performing at your absolute best and your happiness level never dips. It stays full. Keep your cup full, because when your cup is full, you can share it with others. If you start to spill your cup or, give too much of your cup away, what ends up happening is you start to fall behind. And that's when you start to compensate with workaholic tendencies, with overwork, with overwhelm. So you're probably thinking, like, well, what if I just want more money? Go back to that sense of everything I want, I already have. Because the money will come, guys. The success will come. All these great things are in your future because you're making them in your present. Right? If you think of it this way, there's only 3 things that we're just where we are right now. Right? You watching this video right now, where you are, that where you want to go, and then what you need to do to get there. It's really that simple. There's not a lot more to the process of life and performance, and then there's a lot of little steps in between. But those are the big 3. And so what I'm letting you know is that endpoint, that journey, that destination, and then all those things that you need to do to get there, do them with a smile. Like, it's okay to be, a workaholic. It's okay to work hard. It's okay to outperform everyone. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. But there's a big difference between doing it in this kind of very controlling state and doing it in this very free, open state that allows you to have your energy flow freely and passionately and make a massive, massive impact. And obviously, this is something we teach in the mentoring program. If you haven't checked that out, highly recommend it. We'll include a link down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is something that I've seen a lot of my friends struggle with. And just to be kind of vulnerable here, I had a friend recently commit suicide who was in this category. He worked very, very hard, built a great organization, and there was just things missing for him. And he's not with us anymore. So I know we talk about that topic a bit here on the channel, but I really want you to understand, if you're falling in that category where you're swimming and you're swimming as hard as you can, but you feel like you can't quite catch your breath, it's okay to slow down a bit. It's okay to pause. The waves are not as big as you think. That breakneck pace is not going to get away from you. If you rest for a moment and take the time to pause and to reflect and to breathe and to rest, you're not going to lose your competitive advantage. In fact, your ability to do that may very well be your competitive advantage. So, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate you. I love you. As always, check out the mentoring program. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell. And if you're a workaholic, comment down below what are some things that you find about yourself that are tough to deal with. And as always, this has been Mikhail with Hustle System. I help people master their mindset, build a better business, and help you live your life on your terms. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. I love you and appreciate you. And I will see you in the next one.